Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. So you heard me make reference to the Jamaica Junior and Senior Championships. And yeah, I pretty much only talked about the seniors. Well, guess what? I'm going to give you a roundup of some of the epic performances that I witnessed over the weekend from the under 20 section. Yes, so finally I'm going to show you or highlight the absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion, under 20 athletes that Jamaica has coming up. And again, it just kind of reaffirms or solidifies my stance that, hey, Jamaica is swinging in this game. I showed you over the weekend a lot of athletes that were between, 19 and pretty much 23 that were really coming to the fore for Jamaica. And these athletes represent in the senior division. And I'm going to be sharing with you the athletes that are now under 20 that are also killing it. And I'm also excited for what they'll be able to do at the under 20 championships this season. And of course, as the years go on, how much better they'll be able to get in the sport and continue to carry Jamaica's flag high, wave it proudly in the air for the rest of us to sit behind our screens and celebrate. But that said, let's kick things off with the girls 100 meters. And boy, what a final this was. We're talking about athletes that were, in different classes, interestingly, at champs coming together in a finals. Trackies that was for the ages, in my opinion. Names that we're all familiar with. We're talking about Tiana Lee, Terry Long, Shania Douglas, Sabrina Dockery, Brenna Campbell, Aliyah Baker, Tonian Forbes, Kira Meikle, and Canela Hope. Trackies, we're talking about some of the best in the girls' 100 meters, really lining up here. And going away with the win was Tiana Lee Terry Long. She ran a 11.13 seconds, a phenomenal run for her, and she now becomes the tied sixth fastest performer under 18 in history, not just from a Jamaican perspective, trackies, but in history. She is tied now the sixth fastest athlete over the 100 meters for the under 18 division. Now, don't get me wrong, she's clearly competing as an under 20 athlete. And again, this underscores how great her athletes are, because you literally see, our senior athletes being represented by 19-year-olds, and now our under 20 athletes, are being represented by 16-year-olds, literally trackies. So it's absolutely amazing seeing these performances here. So she becomes number six, as I said, tied all time on that 100-meter list with this performance. And trackies, the race for her was absolutely great. I was watching each round. What she seems to have worked on, based on what I saw at Champs to know, is her start. She was getting that start. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I don't think anybody is going to be able to catch her, because if she's not getting her start, then there probably is a possibility. But the start was popping. She was gone from the blocks and she kept moving away for that 11.13 seconds run. Now, in second place, this one was, interesting, because it was always going to be a conversation based on the heats. Who would take second? Would it be Sabrina Dockery or would it be Shania Douglas? Well, in this instance, trackies, it is Shania Douglas. Again, another under 18 athlete, trackies, and she runs an 11.28 seconds. Now, what's interesting for me is Shania doesn't get any start at all, right? She pretty much uses her strength towards the end of the race to come back in the thick of things, and that was how she was able to really clutch, that spot. But trackies, again, when you look at the times that these athletes are running, absolutely impressive for Shania Douglas. And I believe this is also a personal best for Shania Douglas as well. Now, Sabrina Dockery heading in ran a personal best in the semi, right? So the thought process was, she definitely may be able to challenge Athena Lee Terry Long, especially the fact that, she was able to defeat Tina Lee Terry Long at the Carifta Games, I believe, earlier this season, right? So there was a thought process that it would be Sabrina Dockery. Well, Shania Douglas really turned up in this race and ran an 11.28 to take that second place spot. Sabrina Dockery now, unfortunately, missing out with her 11.29 seconds. Now, we're just going to switch focuses a bit, and we are going to talk about, you know, the women's 200 meters, because that was another great event that came up. And it was also going to be interesting to see which athletes would make it through. And the reason is, I talked about Sabrina Dockery. There's only two athletes that make it through to represent Jamaica at the under 20 level, right? So she misses out even though she places third. Well, it would be interesting to see if she'll be able to cop a spot in the 200 meters, because she'd go up against a Shania Douglas as well. But not only Shania Douglas, there's also the new Jamaican, or looking to represent Jamaica this season at the under 20 division, Skylar Franklin, that also has an amazing 200 meters, was in this event as well. So again, more great competition that was coming up. And track is, I have to say, in this race, I was absolutely flabbergasted again by the performances. And I think, again, this underscores how awesome our under 20 athletes are, slash under 18 at this particular point, right? So I think the only athlete that is not under 18 on this list is Sabrina Darkry, considering I think she turns 18 in this year. But that being said, Shania Douglas and everybody else, they're under 18. Skylar Franklin as well, under 18. Absolutely amazing, right? So we have Shania Douglas running a 22.59 seconds. Let me say that again, at 22.59 seconds, to become the second fastest Jamaican all time in the 200 meters in the under 18 division. Now, again, she represents under 20, but under 18, she's second all time, second only to Brianna Williams, that ran at 22.50 seconds. Now, when you look at it from an under 20 perspective, then we have to throw in a Brianna Liston that now is second on the list, and Shania Douglas will be third. However, absolutely phenomenal running was going on over the weekend. Left, right, and center. I was saying I was left gobsmacked. Literally, Trackies, I was left gobsmacked watching the performances from our athletes. They really came out and showed out at all levels. And I'm very, very impressed by what went on, the show that they put on for sure. So, yeah, Shania Douglas, second all time under 18 performer, and you could say third all time under 20 performer from a Jamaican perspective in the 200 meters. And when I tell you, in that final 50 in that race, her strength definitely showed up. Again, she doesn't have the best starts. In the future, we'll definitely see them work on her starts. But for now, track is, her strength is pretty much, what's carrying her through these races. And that final 50 was absolutely impressive. You remember when I talked about Brian Lavelle and how he just kept moving through that final 50? Well, same thing here for Shania Douglas. She literally just kept moving through effortlessly to go away with this fantastic new personal best. And again, as I said, second slash third all time when we talk about under 18, under 20 for Jamaica. Now, actually, I am not surprised seeing her run this fast. The reason is because from during champs, I don't know if y'all remember, or prior to champs, let me put it that way, she went to the qualifier for the Carifte Games, and she ran at 22.85 in a positive 2.1 meters per second wind. And when she did that, I said to myself, we are going to get something super at champs. It didn't come together at champs, but it's coming together now, trackies, and I'm happy to see these performances from her. Now, in second place was Skylar Franklin. Now, we're going to get into her because she's another awesome athlete. Now, I don't know if she's, has the paperwork yet to represent Jamaica, but she, is very intent on repping Jamaica. And I'm so happy to welcome her to Team Jamaica. So both her parents are Jamaican. And she's like, look here, me born and grow and hear everything about Jamaica and how great it is. That's where I want to rep. And I'm happy that she's decided to do that. And yeah, we welcome her with open arms. She runs a 23.16 seconds, just shy of her personal best track is, and she places second in this race. What I would say about Skylar Franklin, she does the same thing Shania Douglas does, interestingly, which is she's a 2-4 athlete, right? So moments before, I want to say is maybe an hour less before the women's 200 meters, or the girls 200 meters, she was actually on the track for the 4, right? I'll get into the 400-meter results a bit later, but she was on the track for the 4. So considering that, she came in right after running the 400 meters and still was able to drop at 23.16 seconds, again, underscores how awesome this athlete is. And yeah, I'm just, grateful that, again, she's chosen to represent Jamaica, and I can't wait to see what she does, in future races. I will say, though, Considering, how thicky she looks, track is, I'm impressed. I'm definitely impressed by how fast she is, in these events. And, thinking about how her future will look, I can't wait to see. Now, Sabrina Ducky unfortunately misses out in the 200 as well. She places third, where she ran at 23.24 seconds. No, Jackie, since we're talking about Skylar and her amazing, amazing performance in the 200, let's jump over to the four and tell you where she really dominated there, right? Where she actually walked away with the win, running her second fastest time ever over the 400-meter distance. Yeah. So Skylar Franklin ran a 51.99 seconds in the 400 meters to qualify, as I said, winning. And I'm telling you, this girl is going to be a force for Jamaica in coming years. And as I said, she is only 16 years old. Let that sink in. All these athletes that I'm talking about, trackies, are under 18 athletes. Oh my gosh. When you think about the years that they have left to continue to dominate in these under 20 division, and then potentially go off as a senior, transition, and do phenomenal again, trackies, the sky is the limits for these beautiful young athletes, and I can't wait to see what happens with them. Now, in second place was Abigail Campbell, and she ran a 53.42 seconds. So those two athletes, trackies, will be off and representing Jamaica in the 400 meters at the World Under 20 Championships. Now, trackies, I've talked about the girls at nauseum. I've went on and on and on about the girls, right? No, it's time to give the boys some love, right? No, it's time to give the boys some love. So let's jump into the boys 100-meter finals. And this was a final. And I think leading in from the semifinal, you could definitely see that Gary Card was definitely going to be doing something absolutely super. And based on what was happening with a DeAndre Daly as well, because I thought DeAndre Daly was the biggest competition for a Gary Card. I still didn't get the vibe that he would be able to challenge a Gary Card in this race. And again, Gary Card is another under 18 athlete. Trackies, let this sink in. I keep reiterating it, but let's understand that some of these athletes are very, very, very young to be performing so fast, right? So Gary Card took to the 100-meter finals, trackies, after running, I believe, at 10.15 in the semi. He comes out and he blazes at 10.07 seconds. 10.07 seconds. Do you know where this ranks him all time? All time. And I'll talk about Jamaica against the Jamaicans. I'm talking about all time. This ranks him third all time as an under 18 performer. That is how awesome Gary Card was in this race. He looked absolutely phenomenal. 10.07 seconds. Track is every part of the race was awesome for me. I didn't see any issue. Start, middle phase, and the end. All phases were absolutely phenomenal, which led to this particular time. And again, you could probably say that he was on, this trajectory, even from before champs, because going into champs, unfortunately, he did not do the 100 meters, but you could definitely see signs, especially when you took a look at his 200, that he was definitely coming with something awesome, or he would be coming with something awesome once he ran the 100 meters, and he definitely did come with something awesome. He's only run the 100 meters a couple of times this season, trackies, literally a handful of times, and he's gone down to a 10.07 seconds. Now, if we all know, he works out at the MVP track club. So trackies, these youngsters are doing it big. Now, as I said, DeAndre Daly was second and he ran at 10.16 seconds. And rounding out top three was Nyron Wade. He runs at 10.36 seconds. Now, moving on over to the 200 meters. Now, Gary Card dominated clearly the under 20 division, though he's under 18 for the 100 meters. And he would simply also dominate the under 20 section for the 200 meters. So, guess what Gary Card decided to do? He was like, all right, I'm not even going to bother run in the under 20 section. I'm going to run with the seniors, trackies. Yes, that is how good he is at this moment. He decided to line up with the seniors and he acquitted himself absolutely phenomenal. Now, he placed fifth eventually in this final that was won by Brian Lavelle. That is only 20. So, again, we are looking at the turning of an age for Jamaica, right? So he ran at 19.97. But as I said, Gary Card, 16, he ran a 20.50 seconds to place fifth in the 200 meters. Where, when you go back to the under 200 meter finals and take a look at what the boys did there, he surpasses them by leaps and bounds, because the winner there, Romario Hines, ran at 20.78 seconds to win the race. So clearly, once they slot him into that 200-meter team for the under 20 section, he is good to go and represent Jamaica there on both fronts. So yeah, as I said, absolutely phenomenal performances happening over the weekend for the junior athletes. What was your favorite performance from the junior athletes, and what are your thoughts on these performances and how Jamaica really looks going into the years to come for athletics? I can't stop smiling. I haven't stopped smiling all weekend. I'm absolutely amazed by all these young athletes that came out and showed out. And we still have the stalwarts. So it's a nice little blend that will be sending off one to the Olympic Games, right? And then, those senior athletes will be able to show the younger generation the ropes, and then eventually they'll be able to take over from the senior athletes, and then they'll be dominating for years to come. Them young, look at the under 20 division. I be under 18 athlete come dominate. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.